just thinking about a lot of what is the draw? Like, what is the hyperfixation? Like, it's Nicolandria nation. Like, hey, I'm your host Alexis.
And I'm your co-host Truk.
Sit back and relax because you're
in good company.
Guys, this week's episode is inspired by the phenomenon that gets us every summer. Let me not. I was only obsessed the past 2 summers, and that is Love Island. But specifically, the conversation that Love Island has sparked in me and a lot of people on the internet. Well, I don't know. This is maybe something that I pulled from the conversations that people were having.
Okay.
I think some people are somewhat having conversations similar to this. But I'm going to dive into, are hopeless romantics really hopeless? And exploring the desire to be loved and what that does to those who yearn for it. Oh, guys, this is gonna be a good episode.
Okay,
let me not jinx it. But really, what I wanted to ask you first is, okay, Truk, I know you're very much not as in like the Love Island, like I guess media craze of it all. Yeah. But what have you seen of the show in general?
Okay, I have seen lots of clips, but more particularly of the girls themselves and not their love stories. Like, in terms of ships, I actually didn't see many. I think the main girls that I saw were of Nicolandria, Shelly, Huda or Huda?
Huda. I believe it's Huda.
Because I had to search up their names
wrong.
because it's Olandria. Because a lot of people are saying Olandria. So let me take a step back.
Huda.
Okay. So I saw a lot of clips of the girls independently. We had like Huda, Alandria, Shelly, Sierra, like the problematic ones. And then I also saw like, Amaya Papaya. Like I know Amaya because of her nickname and I think that's really cute. But yeah, like my content was more shifted towards like the girls and Megan Thee Stallion when she was hosting that one episode.
The challenge. Really, I think that's interesting because we've done a Love Island episode. We did last year. If you guys haven't seen it, you should watch. It's gonna be linked.
A little throwback.
It's gonna be linked.
We're having a different conversation.
Absolutely.
Last time it was like parasocial relationships, and now it's like hopeless romantics and more personal.
Yes, I love. So. But okay, I'm the audience, you guys. What I know of Love Island is sometime during season 6, I was just captured, like enthralled. Like many people, that's for the first time ever watching the show and ever being like very invested. And it was like at first definitely the women that had me like, I like this, like I want to root for them, I want to support them, I want to see what's going on. And then I'm always going to be rooting for Black women on shows that they're not like giving me problematic. Like I'm always going to be here for that. Like I love to see my people get opportunities. Even that opportunity is Love Island.
No, but like
Love Island, like that will open the door for you.
Your influencer prestige, essentially.
Well, after I think because it's interesting. Just I wonder because I know a lot of people talk about like after season 6, like now people know if you go on that show you're likely going to get fame, and that conversation within itself is interesting. But we're going to be going to the love aspect of it. So definitely from what I know of Love Island, I know what I knew last year, and then of course this year I wasn't really planning to watch. Like I was very much busy when a lot of the show was airing, but I had seen people talk about even from very early Nic and Ola and like Nicolandria and like just shipping them, and it was like a crack ship. Like it was very unserious, but it was silly. The internet seems to be silly and fun sometimes, and I'm like, this is a good laugh.
Like all their little edits,
right? Like, it's cute. But then all of a sudden, people were like, no, wait a minute, I think we're on to something. And then it was like, wait, no, I really think we're on to something. And next thing you know, we were on to something. What can I say? And it's so interesting because even the whole watching 2 people, come together like organically as they can in a reality TV show setting. I know some people will argue like it's not going to be real. Some other people argue it is real. I think I'm of the side where a lot of these people aren't very good actors, respectfully, and I just don't think the people that a lot of those think are fake could keep the bid up for as long. So I personally do believe that they really do like each other. I'm going to believe what they say until their actions tell me otherwise. But it's also interesting because, of course, there are some people who are like, I'm not too sure. But to those who are really like into it, I think I've been just thinking about a lot of what is the draw? Like, what is the hyperfixation? Like, it's Nicolandria Nation. Like it's
No, because
huge.
these shippers are dedicated.
Girl, they got Twitter Spaces. They have Instagram pages. I will say, there's an Instagram page that was made just like maybe like a week ago, 2 weeks ago max. Like it's very fresh, and it's literally just dedicated to updates about Nicolandria. They do lives on them. Y'all, they had less than 1,000 people at some point. Obviously, everyone starts small. Almost at 50K.
Wow.
These are just people who support this show.
In 2 weeks.
Like it's a very new account, because I remember I followed them around like half of this, like maybe around 20K. I was like found them. Y'all, the first post was July 8th.
Wow.
To put in perspective, today, guys, we're exposing ourselves. It's July 28th. So it really hasn't been very long. Like, that's insane to me. So, because even I was wondering myself, like, why am I so curious about this relationship? And I think for Truk, who's like very much like, I'm telling her about it, she's just kind of like,
I'm just absorbing. I'm being absorbing information.
And I think it's good to see the dichotomy of somebody who's very much touched grass and someone who has.
It's just different perspectives. That's what InGoodCompany's here for.
Absolutely. And okay, and honestly, my first thing I do want to just get into is one thing, my theory, because I see a lot of people talk about the fixation on these two people together individually, very interesting. But I really feel like many women have been expressing how how underwhelming the dating pool is for those who are looking like to find somebody. And also like a lot of people who were talking about they love these two people together were like, it's interesting. The conversation has been people who have been rooting for them for a very long time are typically the ones who are like reading a lot of like books and watching a lot of like romance movies. And they said like they played out like a romance movie, which is crazy to me, because even the two, Nic and Ola, have come out and talked about how watching back the edits is very surreal, because they didn't know how they were like the little things. Everything is captured to an extent on camera. So you can see like the glances, the shy little giggles, like everything's there for you, and it's played out like this very like sweet story of these two people coming together. And typically I think the fascination is, one, you don't see a lot of people who come onto a show for love and really do fall in love with each other in a way. I say fall in love quotations, fall for one another in a way that feels very genuine. Because I think of a lot of like reality TV shows, it's more so like for the drama of like, we think like, I think it's like Temptation Island is a crazy concept where they like take two people in a relationship and they test the relationship and they throw in with a bunch of single people and they're like, will you last?
Oh my god.
The Ultimatum is also a crazy show that Netflix does, where like they have couples and one of them is like, the ultimatum is I want to marry you, and the other person's like, I don't think I'm ready, and then they couple up with other people. So like a bunch of people who want to be married in the couple, a bunch of people who don't, and they throw them all together, and then you can couple up with somebody else, and then you can decide to leave with that person or marry the original person you came in with.
Yo, I didn't know all these dating shows existed. I definitely believe that these shows exist because of how relationship based we are as a society. But that's insane that they would throw these relationships to the extremes in public.
Yes, and then of course we have Love is Blind, which was the whole concept of coming on the show, you can't see what they look like and you fall in love with them.
I have seen that,
I haven't, and it's interesting because Love Island out of all these shows is the only one that I have watched. Like to the point where I'm keeping up with each episode. I'm like, oh my god, what happens next? Like, guys, you know how exciting it would be? You would literally get off the app, go on TikTok. People, yo, guys, it was wicked. I remember when they were like, everything was coming out and they were doing, obviously, like dropping episodes like every other day, every day. People would be on like TikTok live all day. I'm serious. I would scroll at random times of the day, and it would just be people on TikTok like discussing the ships, discussing the episode, discussing what happened today. And a lot of these discussion groups were discussing Nic and Ola, which brings me back to the main point of, I think a lot of women do not see like the love that they desire depicted in real life. They've only ever seen it in fictionalized stories. So you get to a point where you become disheartened. You're like, maybe what I want isn't out there per se. And also this cast is very Gen Z. Like Nicolandria is like 27 and Nic is 24. So you got to think like
in our age
that's
range.
With relatively in a lot of young older Gen Z's age range, and even the millennials. Like I think all ranges are like hyperfixated. But one thing is the dating pool for Gen Zers, from what I've seen and from what I've experienced, people are like, it's not great out here. Like a lot of, you're probably going to need to wait a few years, establish yourself a bit of time. And there's this frustration of, well, I want to experience this now. So I think once again, seeing it on screen, you're like, hey, this does exist. And it gives me hope that maybe I could experience that.
Oh,
No, I'm talking about.
Oh, but still.
I mean, yeah, me, but other people as well. I've seen a lot of conversations, and I think this is once again interesting, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. People saying that watching this play out has made them want to dive back into the dating scene, or like, you know, try again, or like, you know, put themselves out there in a way they've been closed off for a long time.
You sent me a TikTok before us filming this episode where this woman was just sharing her experience about how she hasn't been dating for years.
Yeah.
And, you know, seeing such a relationship unfold on television made her realize, like, hey, like, it's reality TV and she recognizes that, but still having those interactions be real life and not fiction.
Exactly.
Kind of like made her more open to trying to see the world again. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because it really boils back to your whole point about fiction versus reality.
Right.
And though Love Island is a big, you know, give or take fictional world, you know,
these are
the
real people
inside are real.
People.
So I see what you mean.
Oh my goodness. And I want to say, you've got me thinking about just the point of a lot of these people, I think, have been told by like men and like just social media in general, gaslighting people, that like what you see is like what you're not going to get, and men don't act like this, like don't expect this type of behavior, this treatment from a man, because it's usually like it's not going to be real. And for it to be shown as like, no, this is real, and if somebody really likes you, they will do these things, I think has reaffirmed a lot of women's like, this is where the goal was, and now I feel like someone really can reach it because I've seen someone reach it. And also I will say, like, in the social climate that we're currently living in, to see like a dark-skinned black woman be like openly adored on TV, where you're like millions and millions and millions of people are watching. And it's also very interesting because of course some people are like very obsessed with like the swirl. I just like that she's getting treated right. Like, I'm not hyper fixated on like the fact that this is a white dude, but that is a conversation within itself, that you typically, she is from, I think, the South, right? So she's from the South. No, I think it's Atlanta. No, so I don't remember.
She was from Tennessee.
Is it Tennessee? I feel like it's not. But she's from the South, and he's from the South as well. He's from Florida. So I guess, yeah, Florida's the South. And just within itself, that a lot of black women wouldn't think would be appreciated and liked by white men. Like, just straight up. Like, that's just kind of the climate that we live in, especially the area she grew up in. She even discussed Alabama. She even discussed this, like, I didn't think he liked me because that's just not like what I've experienced in the past. And that's the conversation I know, like, just being a minority in general, you go on this dating show and you're seeing, like, I probably would have been like, that white boy does not like me. I just, when you're not perceived as the preference, you don't then assume, okay, this is, I'm desired here. So I think that's also something that's been curious to see different women talking about their experience of being pursued by men of different races and how it does look different. Have you had any experience with being like, because I know in your relationship now, but dudes of different like backgrounds, and do they hit on you different? Because I think this is also something I've been thinking about, and I feel like is true.
We've had this conversation before, Tay and Anthony, about how because I was Asian, I felt a little bit awkward because I felt like I was just in the background when it comes to being in a school where everybody's predominantly black, because I feel like here black men kind of desire black women more,
which is also interesting because that was my take, right? And I was like, oh, like, they don't want me, like, I'm just here, oh my goodness, chilling. And that's what I think is so funny. Multiple black guys have liked you up here. Yes. Which I think goes against your previous belief that you once held, which is also interesting. Because going into like high school, also predominantly black, right? Not a single no one bat eye, or that I knew of. Yeah. So I was like, that was where I picked up that mindset. No, I know I'm exactly Asian, what you mean. Because I definitely, when I go into a space with a different race, I'm not going to be like, I think I'm pretty, but I'm not going to automatically assume like I'm that standard within the race, because I know I'm not. And that's It's just like, okay, that's
Yeah,
how we
like
move.
it's just being
Which,
like
of
not
course,
standard.
the difference for white women is that they do believe that they are the standard in every race, right? So they're going to approach these situations very different and with a level of privilege that minority women just don't. It's not that we don't have confidence, it's that we more so have been conditioned to know our place, which I think is like,
Yeah, just be.
I mean, shoot. But I think that's also curious because I have had white guys like me, and I remember the first guy that, like, white guy that openly told me he liked me. I was like, really?
You're like, huh? Question mark?
I was like, I actually straight up at this man, I was like, are you fetishizing me right now? Because I didn't know what to believe. I was like 16, and I was just like, I don't know. Like, I don't
just
believe
like,
you. Like, I genuinely didn't
Yeah.
believe that he liked me because he liked me. I felt like it was I think I was so fixated on how different we were physically that I was like, I don't know if I can trust you saying you like me, which I think it's sad, but then also I do think it's important to be cautious. I don't know if he deserved that caution, but that was just like my genuine, like,
That was
where is this coming from?
Your natural like defensive mechanism kind of coming out.
Of trying to figure out, like, what do you like about me? And that conversation within itself, I know a lot of black women had in the past. It's a real talking point. Like, so I think it's always very interesting when I see couples that are very much interracial, and I'm like, that's an interesting space to navigate, because I know you have to at some point. Like, I don't know if these conversations don't have, or you just an unspoken understanding, like, where you guys lie. So I think that's the conversation within itself. Haven't been in an interracial relationship, so I can't speak on that, but I almost was.
Yeah, that is correct.
I almost was.
Yo, witnessed most of your dating stuff in college.
But on to, like, the next thing that I've been just thinking about is, do you feel like, because I feel like, true, you come from a place of being in a relationship, so I feel like it's a bit hard for you to be objective, but do you think that we are living in a quote-unquote loneliness epidemic? I've seen a lot of people talk about this, like, oh, men are living in a loneliness epidemic, which is like, is that not a self-made epidemic? But I don't know. But what are your thoughts on this conversation in itself? Because I think it ties into people being so desperate to, like, see quote-unquote true love play out on their screen.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, for sure. I've definitely brought up like the topic of loneliness epidemic up in previous episodes in the sense of friendship, but I think it goes to dating as well. I think it goes for both friendship and dating. I think our current culture really does isolate us from everybody because it's always hustle culture, improve yourself, you know, show that fake persona online. Like it is very isolating being online and showing a fake version of ourselves, and we're not vulnerable with each other enough to build community, to make friendships and make relationships, you know, have a stronger foundation.
You're making me think of a great point, because I was just talking about this with my mother. I was saying how I have quite a few friends that the way they're perceived online is vastly different. Like, it's not vastly different, but whatever stereotypes you may throw onto them is not how they are in real life. Like, a lot of my friends are like, oh wow, like I have one friend and she has like tattoos and piercings, but she's like very like down to earth and sweet, and some people may assume that you're more like maybe you're more prickly around the edges, or maybe like you're more, I don't know, like whatever perceptions you have when you associate certain characteristics. Or like my one friend, like she is very much like insta baddie, like, but she's also like very sweet, like very like, and I'm just like, wow. I think another thing that ruins things is the perception of how you are online. People see that before they see you a lot of the time, and they make assumptions on who you are as a person, and then they get disappointed if you don't live up to them, or if you do live up to them. What I think is Love Island is so interesting because you can't hide. Like, they are with each other for
all
it's
the
like
time.
6 weeks, I think it goes on for, every day, all day, all sleeping in the same room, all getting ready together, all getting unready together. Like, all they can do is chat. Like, they can't have their phones, they can't have music, they can't have books. Like, all they do is talk to one another all day long. And that within itself is like, it's such a crazy, like, that's an experiment. Like, they're experimenting on these people when we were watching it in real time. Like, because, you know, they've always had this thing of like connections being formed. If you are on like a desert island with somebody, you're more likely like you go through something quote unquote traumatic with somebody, or you're isolated. I mean, is Love Island not just the forced proximity trope?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, guys,
it is quite
it
literally.
really is. And I think that within itself is so interesting. Like, would you ever be on Love Island? I know we've talked about this.
Oh no. I don't got the energy for that.
That's
I'm in a
real.
happy relationship.
That's
but
real.
like, their challenges are a little bit too much for me.
I agree. The challenges are definitely too freaked out. If the challenges didn't exist, or they were very like tame, I'm like, I don't know. I think for me is I would never want that much exposure on who I am as a person, because you can't control the edits you get. You can't control the things people say about you, the way people
Reality
receive
TV
you.
is also very warped too, because I remember something popped up during an interview with Nicolandria, and she was like, no, one of the challenges went on for 7 hours and they cut it down to just 2.
Yes.
And what you guys saw was very manipulated.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, damn, T.
Yeah, no, that's another thing. Like, that's the real fear of how am I going to be portrayed, and also the stereotypes that we currently live with, do they play into the portrayal that you're going to get, like the edit you're going to get, which I know is off topic, but I think it's something that needs to be brought up, which is even in relationships, sometimes women are certain, could you be seen as your race before you as a person. So that's another thing that plays into it, which is why I think people are like, oh my goodness, like he saw past all of that and they just had such a strong friendship that everything else was able to come so naturally after the fact. And I think that's really beautiful. I was kind of traumatized. Guys, you know, I did an episode where I had an ex-guy friend hit on me and I was like, I cannot do no friends or lovers, like I'm done with that. But like low key, this is got me wanting to open my heart back up. I'm like, guys, wait, maybe I can. But then it's also the context of like, is anybody really your friend on Love Island? I mean, yes, but also like everyone technically is a potential partner. So I just think it's a really interesting and breeding ground. Yes, like it's a crazy breeding ground. But I will say I do think that we are living in a somewhat loneliness epidemic, but I don't know if that's anything new. I think there's always been a loneliness epidemic of sorts, and maybe
it's been exacerbated by social media.
Exactly. I was literally going to say, you took it out of my head.
My bad, girl.
No, you're good. Like we're linked up. But really the last question I have for you is, do you think true yearning and like soft love, like does that exist? Have you experienced it? I feel like you likely have.
Yeah.
So you can attest that it does exist, guys.
Yes.
So you can attest.
I mean, it's slow, it's sweet. Like, and the thing is,
and you did like kind of a friends to lovers.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't like friends. My relationship wasn't for real friends to lovers, because we didn't have like that friendship where we hung out strictly as platonic.
Yeah, that's true.
Like he was pursuing me since the beginning.
Yeah, you're being courted.
Yeah, and
bring back courting.
But like there's a lot of things about relationships that don't get seen online. You know what I mean? And it's difficult to have those conversations. But I mean, you know, soft love is out there. Absolutely. And it's nice to keep your heart open for it.
Yes, but I also think it is also key to maintain those standards that you have, because guys, I got courted for the first time in my life, like truly courted in my opinion, when I was like, this was like last year. No, maybe the year before. I was 20. Yeah, was I?
Yes, girl. I remember. I was there.
Stop.
I was there.
Anyway, the point is, it may take time to experience, and I probably think that's probably fairly young to experience it, because a lot of men are weird. But the point is, it definitely does exist, and I am a testament, she's a testament, and I think all good things come to those who wait.
Yeah.
Waiting like sucks. I'm not a very patient person, but it does come. And I think the focus is, it's okay to like just focus on yourself or focus on your own business. Like I think about people and when they've experienced these like life-changing loves, quote unquote, and some of them are in their late 20s, some are in their 30s. Like there's no time limit on this. Yeah. I think a lot of people want to be in these relationships like early, because the idea of a teenager experiences before you, like
that's because media pushes
exactly
like teenagehood.
Right, absolutely. So I think a lot of it is not truly real. Like to have a relationship at a young age doesn't mean it was a good one. It doesn't mean it was one to like envy from others. So it's just interesting conversations. But yeah, my last take is I think people just want to be loved, and to see someone who looks like them be loved, or see someone who they see themselves in or has similar traits, like that is, if anything, it just reassures people that it's possible and that it's out there and that they can have it. They don't need to change themselves to attain it. And that's like how I want to end.
That is sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, like we're all just humans looking for love, for real.
Absolutely. And I hope that if you're watching this and you want to be, I know love is all around us, like in friendships and everything, but like romantic love is a different aspect that I don't think people shouldn't be able to experience. So If you're watching, either I hope you're booped out with somebody great, or you're going to be, like, regardless of what that looks like.
Manifesting all the positive energy.
Absolutely, I'm manifesting. But yes, now I'm gonna do my little song recommendation. And guys, I am trying to figure out what I want to give you, because I low-key want to give like a love song, because it just feels fitting.
My little fun fact is really silly goofy. So
really,
yeah,
that
it's
fits
not
the
love
vibe.
related at all.
And the question is, like, what song do I want to do for you? There are so many. Oh my gosh. Guys, I know I'm gonna do. This is a song that a lot of people know, and I don't even know if this is like a love song, but this has been a song that has been like I've been obsessed with, and it is Pink Matter by Frank Ocean. Y'all, it's tea. Like, it's just I love it.
Thank you for the recommendation.
Yes, of course.
Okay, first. So, I have a little fun fact to share for the end of today's episode, and it comes with landscaping. Is that crazy to bring up?
I mean, it's your fact.
It is my fact. But I just saw a cute video with people using goats to naturally landscape a space by a lake.
That.
So instead of, like, you know, using gasoline and tools and heavy machinery and polluting the air, they're like, we're gonna have goats and they're gonna graze for a couple of weeks. Or they actually grazed in like 2 days, and they got rid of all the bushes and everything. And I was like, that is so cute. I love an environmentally friendly way that benefits both the human and the animal. So that's my little fun fact. Goats grazing. And I know people use like chickens to graze.
Really?
And a bunch of different animals that like snack on bugs and leaves on nature. So yeah, it's cute. Like, I want to have a cute garden when I grow up.
Oh, me too.
And I will be taking advantage of natural grazing to landscape.
You're gonna get goats?
I want to get ducks.
Ducks graze?
Yeah, they got bugs. They be grazing on the bugs in the grass. But I'll get some goats. I don't know.
Girl, where are you gonna live where they can let you have goats?
Girl, ask me that when I'm like 50, 60, okay?
50, 60?
I'm trying to live in the city when I'm young. I'm a city girl. Girl, I don't know what I'm saying.
Truth is young and turnt and lit. That's what she said.
Right.
Yeah, guys, that is the end of this week's episode. I want to say shout out to Bobby. And shout out to the Humanities Department. And we will see you next Thursday.
Bye.